Dear Sir or Madam, if you do not know who I am already, my name is Flesh Lump Eater, leader of Giant Country and my band of giants. Yes, as you may have noticed, my name is kind of gruesome. You may expect me to be some kind of man-eating giant or something. Well, you are correct. My sole job in this world is to eat human beings, or human beings as we call them, for the sake of survival. Now wait, do not be afraid, it really doesn't sound as bad as it really is. Let me explain. Now us giants are basically immortal, and since the beginning of time, human beings have been suffering from a population overload. Like our good friend Thomas Malthus would say, population when unchecked increases in a geometric ratio. The power of population is indefinitely greater than the power in the earth to produce subsistence for man. The governments of countries have always tried to seek a way to control their populations, and many have failed to no prevail. Our duty as hired mercenaries is to serve the leaders of the countries that we work for, and our work? That is to eat up human beings and control the populations of our respective nations. Well, that was until a few events happened in Giant Country that almost put us out of business. The population of Giant Country had an original population of 10. 9 of the giants are of the man-eating variety, which include the Blood Bottler, the Maid Masher, the Gizzard Gulper, the Meat Dripper, the Child Chewer, the Man Hugger, the Bone Cruncher, Butcher Boy, and of course me, the Flesh Lump Eater. However, there was also a special giant in our group. This giant was half our size, doesn't like to eat human beings, and hides away in his cave doing some weird paranormal dreamy stuff. Every night while we were off working our butts off to control the population, he would run off and give dreams to little kids. Well, one day, the Runt, as we called him, carried back a human being behind his left ear, and hid her in his little cave. A little girl by the name of Sophie was kidnapped by a passing giant. How unacceptable! Smelling the scent of a human, we went to investigate. Maybe we could be Ubermensch and liberate a helpless human being. As we entered the Runt's cave, I negotiated with him. Hey Runt, we are the smelling of the scent of a human being. Kidnapping is the very bad, so hand her over. What human being? He asked. Of course, with his denial, we were forced to search the cave. However, this provoked the little Runt to kick us out. How rude! Get out, you cannibals, he yelled, while holding a flaming stick. With that, we were forced to retreat. When we say liberating, we mean freeing her from the little Runt's grasp and eating her, of course. We are not that nice. But it is not purely for the joy of eating humans. If little Sophie were to get out and whistleblow to the public about man-eating giants working for the government, oh how that would be disastrous. Not only would the people panic and try to overthrow their governments in outrage for their immorality, our contracts would end as well. We were simply seizing the means of information and protecting both ourselves and the governments as well. Moving on, Sophie and the Runt went out one night and galloped off while we were still asleep. Apparently, they tried to seek out the Queen of England for assistance in trying to eliminate her race of man-eating giants. However, their plan backfired dramatically. After seeking assistance from the Queen and her army, they traveled to Giant Country and tried to arrest us. Of course we fought when the helicopters came for us. Of course we fought when paratroopers came raining from the sky. We fought until one of the generals walked up to us among the chaos and gave us the signal. If you giants still want that contract with our governments, you better stop fighting, he told us. But you are invading our homeland and trying to test us. Why shouldn't we attack your beans with sticks that shoot balls, giant fishing nets, and flying boxes? Butcher Boy argued. This is all a PR stunt. Do not worry. Once the public has seen you all arrested, you will be freed and will resume your duties. That is, unless you keep fighting us, the general explained. We were all promptly bagged up in nets and whisked off by helicopters into the suburbs of Bristol. Tourism was quite bad there at the time, and dumped in a giant excavated ditch on an empty lot and put onto display for everyone to see. For about 3 months, we sat in the ditch with nothing to do. Soon, the crowds dispersed as people lost interest in us, and we became even more bored. That was until, secretly one night, Swedish military helicopters, with cooperation with the British Army, silently came and fished us out of the hole and transported us back to Giant Country. There, we resumed our usual routine, sleeping during the day and doing our duty in controlling the population during the night. The little runt and Sophie were never heard of again. Apparently, the British government appeased them by giving them a giant house to live next to Buckingham Palace, asking them to keep quiet about the whole man-eating giants thing. The general public quickly forgot about the man-eating giant incident, and us giants lived peacefully ever after. Sirs and madams, you now know the true story of us man-eating giants. We do not merely eat humans for pleasure, but rather we are doing our duty for who we work for. We are in fact controlling the population so the humans don't have to. If you still have issues with us eating your people, please do not blame us, but do blame the governments who are controlling us. After writing all this, I'm sure you will never hear of us again, as I would assume the governments are quickly trying to cover everything up. Sincerely, Flesh Lump Eater of Giant Country.